All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Stock Talk, series where we cover exciting news and price action in regard to stocks that are exciting me personally at the moment. In this episode, we are going to be covering the EV sector. It's been a while since we touched on electric vehicles, so I'm excited to share my thoughts on some of these plays with you guys. Let's get into it. As always, we'll go over each topic that we're going to be discussing, and then we'll dive into each one individually. In front of us, of course, you guys know the drill, Trading View, where we will be spending a lot of time today talking price action, price targets, letting you guys know what I think about the technicals in regard to the plays as follows. We'll go down the line here on the watch list, kicking it off with Li Auto and Xpeng. All right, so the Chinese automakers, Chinese EV plays that IPO'd earlier this year and are looking very promising right now to me. They have both corrected over the past couple months, so I really think it's their time to shine. We will go on to talk NIO as well. I know a lot of you probably play NIO or interested in NIO, but NIO is actually one of the plays in this sector that I'm bearish on, and as well as Tesla. So we'll cover those at the end. Again, kick it off with Li and Xpeng, finish it off with NIO and Tesla. Again, some bad news at the end there. At least in my opinion. Always remember, you guys, this is just my opinion. But in the middle are the two plays that I'm personally the most excited about right now in this sector. It is Alternet Systems, or ticker symbol ALYI. This is a very promising play to me right now, you guys. This is a micro cap stock. So this stock currently has a market cap, get this, of under $5 million. So you guys know I love small market cap plays. It takes less capital inflow to appreciate the individual share price. And of course, it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, but I want to share this with you guys because I'm personally super excited about it. So we'll cover ALYI. We'll cover Hyillion. So Hyillion, it's been a while since we talked about them. Old friend to the channel. They've also seen some carnage over the past couple months since they reached their highs earlier this year during the initial EV boom. But I remain very fundamentally bullish on Hyillion, and I think that they could see some love in the near future as well. Okay, so those are all the stocks we'll be covering on the charts. In regard to two articles that I want to share with you guys, they're both about this ALYI stock. So Alternet Energy, okay, so Alternet Systems, I'm sorry. Titled, Revolt's owner, Alternet Systems, ALYI, soaring as EV motorcycles production launches soon. So this is very exciting, you guys. Again, very promising play, obviously, in the EV sector. The EV sector is hot right now. Sub $5 million market cap. They are producing, or they are going on to produce, this electric motorcycle, which is a very unique play in the EV space. Of course, cars are good. Cars are the base, but if you wanna diversify within sectors, which is something I talk about a lot, you want to look for unique plays, okay? And ALYI, Alternet Systems, is developing this sick looking bike. So it takes a certain taste. It doesn't look super futuristic, but I think that's intentional. They're trying to put a modern twist, or they're trying to put the modern play into a retro design into a modern play. There we go. So we will cover this, and then one more talking about ALYI announces a Revolt token electric vehicle ecosystem milestone. So this is very interesting. Again, you guys, these are both fairly new articles, both coming out within the past couple days, and that's just furthers my bullish nature for this stock, considering we're seeing some nice back-to-back news, and momentum is huge in the space, especially with a penny stock like this. Okay, so again, I'm very excited to share this play with you guys. And of course talk about all these plays on the charts as well. So before we get into it, I will, as always, ask you guys to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today, or if you're invested in any of the stocks we're talking about. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to catch more content like this, and of course check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter, first link down in the description. Shout out to the newsletter group. They saw ALYI first, as well as, of course, everything we talk about here on the channel. So if you want to know exactly what I'm trading, exactly how I'm trading it, complete breakdown of my entire portfolio, I do update that every single trading day during market hours. And with every update, I send out a full comprehensive email newsletter explaining my thoughts and rationalizing my decision making for you guys. Even if I don't make trades, I will give you analysis. Like almost every morning I do this. I give an analysis with the charts, with technicals, with fundamentals, about stocks that I don't even trade, but I think are promising and that I want to share with you guys. So real-time updates from myself about many of the stocks, many sectors across the market, everything I'm interested in personally. If you guys are interested in that, first link in the description down below. But if not, no worries at all. Let's get into the charts. All right, so again, Li Auto and Xpeng, both looking very promising early in the year. They both IPO'd around, actually no, Xpeng, I believe Xpeng IPO'd a little later, but we'll see that. So Lee did IPO on July 30th of 2020, just of this year, so just over half a year ago, just about half a year ago, and has since crushed it. So it IPO'd at a price around $16.50, ultimately came up again during that initial EV boom, and actually topped out around November of 2020, so not too long ago. But since its November high at $47, it has corrected significantly, okay? So Lee is obviously, just looking at this chart, you guys, it does not take a technical genius to know this. Lee is still in an obvious uptrend, okay? So there's still higher highs, still higher lows, and considering Lee has taken a pretty significant beating over the past month or so, over the past month and a half, I do believe it's time to once again come up and retest some of these lines of resistance on the overall uptrend, okay? So the two lines that I believe will come into play for Lee are this one. So this is the base uptrend. Ever since the IPO, you have this touch point right after the IPO, August 6th, this touch point right here, August 26th. And keep in mind, you guys, this trend line, this top line of resistance on this overall uptrend is very conservative. Notice how I'm not using these absolute highs because I don't like to do that personally. They could come into play, especially if we start ripping again. It is very likely actually that they will come into play, but just to be conservative, just to play it safe for me personally, and what I want to talk to you guys about, I like to use conservative trend lines again, just to play it on the safer side, okay? So I do believe that will come into play once we start seeing this thing rip up again. Of course, if it starts to rip up again, keep in mind, once again, just my opinion. So that would take us, if we come up to test this at the beginning of February, let's just use that, at about $55 or just under $55, which would be a new all-time high for Lee. All right, the other trend line that I do think could pose some resistance is this more short-term one, okay? So this short-term trend, like once it started ripping, this was actually the first high, I would say, in this catalyst towards this parabolic uptrend, okay? So first high starting at the end of September 30th, right here, you get October 15th, right here, and then you guys just look at this area right here, you can see it used as both resistance and support over the course of this parabolic rally, all right? And I do believe that will it's very likely that does come into play. So maybe we rip up here, see a short-term move up to this area around $47, maybe pull back a little bit, see a correction there short-term, and then ultimately come up to test this absolute top line of resistance. If I was a betting man, which I am, I do trade the stock personally, I would say that's probably the call. We'll probably come up to test $47, maybe see a short-term pullback, and then ultimately come up to set those new all-time highs around $55. All right, so that's Lee. Xpeng, again, very similar play. So Xpeng IPO'd on about a month later, so August 27th. All right, so Xpeng did IPO a little later. Both very new companies, obviously both seeing a lot of love. 2020 was the year of IPOs, guys. If there's a year to IPO, it's 2020. Money is just flowing into these revolutionary, exciting sectors. Okay, so Xpeng is actually has seen more volatility. You see this move up that Xpeng had was a lot more significant. All right, so I'd fully drew on this chart earlier, you guys. I'm sorry, I don't think it synced. Like it clouded to my trading view, but we're just gonna freestyle it right now. I have an idea of what it is. It's very similar to Lee in all honesty. Okay, so Xpeng again set a high, went from at the beginning of November $20 to a high of $75. So over 3x, almost a 4x in the span of under a month, which is crazy. Which in all honesty, I don't like to see for an EV stock. But again, there's so much hype around this sector that it doesn't surprise me in the least. Both of these do have similar market caps, both around Lee, of course, Lee I'm talking. Lee and Xpeng both are sitting currently at a market cap around $20 billion ballpark. And again, there's a lot of room for growth considering Tesla, which again, we will talk about at the end, is over an $800 billion company. So of course, Tesla is larger, it's more competent, it has way more vehicles on the road, it's far more established. So $20 billion market cap for what these guys are doing is again, I'm not super educated and versed on the financials as we talk about the EV sector more, because I am getting back involved into it. We've been talking so much crypto lately that I've been so focused on crypto, I haven't spent a lot of time doing deep dives into some of these stocks. But trust me, you guys, I will. Please, if you guys are familiar with financials, progress, please drop it down in the comments, educate the community, and to educate me as well, okay? So I would greatly appreciate that. But again, from a technical perspective, Xpeng is looking promising. Just a general trend line I'm seeing here for top side price targets is like this right here. This is a pretty conservative trend line. Okay, so even if we want to get more conservative, we could take this part into account here, which does look this does look about right. So again, using this first high of this parabolic rally mid-November, you got a few touch points in here. You see it used as both support and resistance and support on some of these 4-hour candles. Used right here as support, used right here as support, and then resistance all over here. So I think this is the most likely trend line to come into play. If we do see this, what is objectively a very steep trend line, do come into play, that would take us, let's do our little target, arrow and target, that would take us all the way up. The target is, so this is not necessary, you guys, I don't want to spend too much time on this. Where the heck is the target? The target is, why can't I find it? I should have had it. I have the rocket ship because I put the rocket ship little emoji thing on ALYI next. But you guys get the point here. If we test it, say at the beginning of February, which would be pretty crazy. Again, you guys, this is a very steep trend line. Say we touch it likely on February 1st, that would take us to almost $100 on the dot. So again, you guys, nothing is impossible in EVs. I would not be surprised, in all honesty, considering Xpeng already did hit a $75 high, to see its next high, like its next yearly high at least, sets at $100 prior to seeing a correction. Okay, I believe once we test this area, obviously you could draw a trend line like that, but that is just completely unreasonable in my opinion. So I think this is a fair trend line. I think it's conservative, although it is highly optimistic and highly bullish. I would not be surprised at all to see it over the coming month or so test this trend line and break triple digits. Okay, so those are the two Chinese automakers that I'm personally excited about right now. I'm bullish on, again, NIO, Tesla, we'll get to those at the end. I'm bearish on those. I know that might trigger some people, but I will explain those at the end. So let's get into these two plays that I'm personally the most excited about right now in this sector. Once again, ALYI and Hyillion. Okay, so ALYI, guys, look at this thing. Market cap of $3 million. This is the smallest stock I've ever seen. Keep in mind, you guys, this is an OTC play, so you do have to use a brokerage. I personally use TD Ameritrade, but any brokerage app or platform that does OTC, over-the-counter stocks, you can buy this. Okay, that's what that little D means right there. So before I get into technicals, this one is tough to talk technicals, but I will try anyway. Let's get into these. Let's get into some of these. Hold on. Let's get into some of these articles and learn a little bit about what ALYI. That's a tongue twister, you guys. I'm having a tough time with that one. I'm sorry. I will make a video. I will very likely make a video specifically covering ALYI in the future, an individual analyses video. But for now, we'll just get a brief idea of what they are. So, Revolt's owner, Alternet Systems, soaring his EV motorcycles production launches soon. Again, you guys, this is sick. I'm more of a modern guy myself, but I can appreciate this retro look that they're going for. Again, especially considering it's in such a revolutionary space like electric motorcycles. To go with the retro look, it's cool. It's a cool concept. I respect the boldness of the play. After electrifying the hoverboard and scooter, the most traditional or classic motorcycles also want to join the zero-emission tech bandwagon. One of the first pioneers is Alternet Systems that offers Revolt brand of electric long-range, retro-looking motorcycle, definitely retro. After the official announcement of producing the EM electric motorcycle, the ALYI shares went up recently by 350% as daily trade had faced an increasing demand for the shares, even though the stock belongs to the OTC market. Right now, an average of 220 million shares is active being on a trading desk between the exchange and buyers. All right, so again, very cool take. Like I said, when you diversify within sectors, similar to how I do in crypto, you got the miners, you have the bankers, you have the DeFi apps. There's a lot of plays within individual sectors, like broad sectors of the market, that are unique. And again, because these EV plays, like the actual vehicles, the car plays, are seeing so much love, it only makes sense to me that, again, as considering I do believe once again we'll see a correction in plays like Tesla, in NIO, just because they've been ripping so hard, we will see some of the capital flow out of those larger plays into smaller, more promising, more niche, in all honesty, more exciting and unique plays like ALYI. Okay, so that is that. Let's move on to this. Again, back-to-back good news. You love to hear it out of a stock this. I like microcaps with good tangible news. You guys, that's how we found like Riot and Mar very early. I'm feeling the same thing with ALYI right now, and that's why again I really wanted to share the stock with you guys. So, Alternet Systems today announced their financing partner Revolt Token has achieved a major milestone. Revolt Token CEO Heinrich Dabrowski plans to publish this update on Friday, January 15th, 2021 to detail the milestone and provide the latest update on progress toward the planned ICO to fund the ALYI electric vehicle ecosystem. So, this is cool. Okay, so we talked about Currency Works not too long ago. If you guys happen to watch that video, that's exactly what they're doing. They're helping companies tokenize some shares. So like make tokens for their individual companies and make a native currency. All right, and that's kind of what they're doing here to fund their projects. Right, they're making a token. So we got an EV play, a unique EV play that is tying in cryptocurrency as well. I freaking love this play, you guys. I'm so stoked on this. And this is not. I mean, it may sound like this is an ad. This is not an ad in the slightest. I'm just like stoked that I found this company, and I was once again stoked to share it with you guys. So keep an eye out. January 15th, I will definitely be keeping an eye on that personally. You guys mark the date if you are interested in looking into this. Keep in mind, you guys, before we do get into this chart at all, I should have said this initially, but I know a lot of you guys know this. I just have to say this. This is objectively a very risky investment. All right, this thing is ripping. It has a market cap of $3 million. You can pretty much own a significant stake in this company with not a crazy big position size. So be very, very cautious with this one, you guys. Of course, do your own research. This is not financial or investment advice, but again, I feel it's very promising. And again, you guys, I definitely recommend keeping an eye on this for yourself. So again, also look at their websites, revoltoken.com, alternetesystemsinc.com. Again, I will make an analysis video in the future covering this, and we will definitely look at those, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on these websites and whatnot. Okay, that said, let's look at the chart. So the chart looking a little crazy. We're going to go to the hourly chart instead of the 4 hour to make it look a little more digestible here. So ALYI, again, you guys, just since the beginning of the new year, we were at about a cent at one point, like less than a cent just at the beginning of this year. Okay, so that's to give you guys some perspective of how small this stock is. Not only is the market cap small, but the share price is tiny as well. You're looking at 0.025 cents, so it's not even 3 cents. It's 0.025 cents. All right, so again, you could buy a lot of shares for not very much money. It feels cool, in all honesty, just to see like a objectively ridiculous amount of shares for not a crazy cost. But again, you guys, this just goes to show you how a little money here could potentially, keyword there, go a very long way. All right. So from a technical perspective, again, it's tough to call here, you guys. This thing has rip potential. That's why, again, put the rocket over there, didn't have the price target ready. But I think this thing has rip potential. I think at the very least, we will come up to test this line of resistance on the short-term uptrend once again. Say we hit it just mid-January, January 14th, where this target is drawn. That would take us to exactly 5 cents. From 0.25 cents, that's exactly a 2x. So I think this has, at the very least, 2x potential. But again, you guys, the reason the rocket's here, I don't do that for every stock. I think that's the first time I've done that, actually. I think this thing, a $3 million market cap, you guys. This thing could 10x, be at 30 million. This thing could 100x and be at 300 million. This thing could 300x, and not even be at $1 billion market cap. So that's very important to understand, you guys, and that's why I wanted to share with you guys, just because it has so much potential. And I do think it will be very, very interesting to see how this play goes over the course of this year and the years to come. Because I'm not only short-term bullish on this, I'm medium and long-term bullish on this too, especially considering these two back-to-back, again, fundamentally, like tangible, fundamentally good articles that we just covered. All right, so again, we will cover this more in the future. Just wanted to introduce it to you guys. And yeah, please let me know what you think about that stock down below, because I'm genuinely interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Moving on, Hyillion, another play. Hyillion? I guess Hyillion is a more chill way to say it. So Helion, whatever. We'll go back to the 4 hourly because we got to zoom out here a little bit with this one. Okay, so Helion is actually seeing a very, very significant pullback since its highs back earlier this summer at about $60. I remember we were covering this on the ride up. We caught this one super early. Shout out to you guys if you have been around for that long. Let me know down in the comments down below. Throw a 100 emoji in the comments if you have been. Hyillion is looking like it wants to bounce in my eyes. Okay, so this is like Hyillion is still technically in a downtrend, right? And if you take these two highs right here from mid-September, from the end of September, from early September, from the end of September as well, that created the overall downtrend. You see it tanked significantly since then. But I think that this long-term downtrend is still in play, and it will ultimately use this line of resistance on this long-term downtrend as a new line of resistance on this reversal on this new uptrend. Okay, so I do believe Hyillion is underappreciated. I think this is a great company. I posted an individual analysis video on Hyillion forever ago. You guys can probably just Google Royce Jacob Hyillion if you do want to watch that. That was young Royce. That was probably over half a year ago now that I made that. But go into it, they make electric powertrains for semi-trucks and larger vehicles, which is a very unique play once again in the EV space. I think Hyillion is a great play fundamentally. Again, you guys can look into it for yourself, but technically I think it would make perfect sense for Hyillion to come up and test this line again as money begins to flow. If all goes accordingly, if what I expect to happen plays out, if money flows out of huge market cap plays like Tesla and NIO, it will flow into these smaller, more promising, more niche plays within that same EV sector, which a lot of people are still excited about, like Hyillion, like ALYI, even like these Chinese auto manufacturers like Li and Xpeng. Okay, so I think Hyillion, in the very near future, if all goes accordingly, again, I do think this will very likely come back into play. This will come up to about $33. Say we hit it early February, $35 price target for Hyillion. This also would almost kind of make a bootleg looking head and shoulders pattern, matching its first high set back in June of 2020. All right, so again, Hyillion went absolutely parabolic, reached a high of about $35. I think we could see a similar thing, considering Hyillion has just been dumping and just been completely neglected over the past almost half a year now. Okay, so Hyillion, I think it's time to shine. I think it's time for it to see some love, and my price target for Hyillion over the coming month or so is $35. Moving on to the plays that I know a lot of you love, and again, I've loved them at times. I just think they're overvalued. You guys know Tesla. We'll talk about Tesla last. So all my charts didn't cloud. They didn't sync. Sorry about that, guys. But regardless, this does still this trend line is so solid in my mind. It's so easy. This is such an obvious play in my personal opinion. Okay, so NIO again extended. Like, if you want to talk about overextended, you guys, we're talking about Bitcoin and stuff a lot lately on the channel. Bitcoin is, on the short-term basis, overextended. NIO is like hyper extended, okay? And NIO, keep in mind, you guys, back in May of this year, was at $3.60. It has since reached a high, what is that, just yesterday, of $67, okay? So NIO has, what, 20x or something like that over like the span of not a very long time, you guys. And off of what, in all honesty, I just talked to one of you guys about this, one of my subscribers, one of my boys, one of the Waves family, about this yesterday, asking me about NIO. And you have to be very, very careful with the financial metrics that some of these Chinese-based companies give out, all right? I don't know if you guys remember Luckin Coffee from earlier this year, supposed to be the next Starbucks of China, and a short selling investment firm dug into them, found out they were just adding a whole bunch of zeros to their numbers. It was completely fraudulent, and Luckin Coffee fell off a cliff and is now worth like very, very little. Okay, so Luckin, next Starbucks of China, NIO, next Tesla of China. I'm feeling some of the same vibes here. Like this is just it's unreasonable growth, in all honesty, you guys. This growth is, again, it's great. If you were invested, congratulations. If you caught this one early, again, I remember talking about NIO around $6, like around this area. I think we were covering NIO stock. And since then, again, it's over 10x from just $6. And I think it's just so overextended and overvalued on what I do believe to be, again, everyone, innocent until proven guilty, 100%, but you guys, it's something to be aware of. It's happened in the past multiple times, and just keep that in mind. Again, NIO, cool cars, great cars. I like the design of their cars. I think they do have a legit company, but I do think that their financials could be a little questionable, all right? And again, not to say that one day they won't have amazing financials and be a very successful company. I believe NIO is currently at, an $81 billion valuation. So, again, you guys, it's just seen such unreasonable growth that I believe it's due for a pullback, and I believe both these lines right here will ultimately come into play. So my downside price targets for NIO is initially, I think it's very likely we come to test what was a significant ascending channel. Once NIO did break out of that ascending channel at the end of October, that is what catalyzed this parabolic rally. NIO went from $28 all the way up to $56, almost doubling in the span of a few weeks. And I do believe that this line, what was once a very strong line of resistance, of course, TA 101, as I always say, will be used as a new line of support. All right, so say NIO pulls back, my first price target on the downside for NIO, say it hits it, I think this could happen pretty quick, you guys, in all honesty. Say it hits it at the beginning of February. That'd bring us to about $40. If we do hit it like at the end of February, it would bring us to about $42. So from 38 to the $42 region, that is my first price target. But in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down, breaks back into this ascending channel, and then ultimately tests the bottom side of this ascending channel. So say just March 1st, again, just because that's where my cursor is falling, say we test that area on March 1st, that would take us to about $33 in NIO. And again, because we've seen this stock rip so much, if we were at $33, NIO still would have over 5x'd from its prices just back here. Okay, so keep in mind, you guys, even if we see NIO do a pull almost like a 50% pullback, it's still up significantly on the year. All right, so that wouldn't surprise me at all. That is my downside price targets for NIO. Again, you guys, I don't want to offend any of you guys. I hope this doesn't offend you. This is just my opinion once again. That doesn't mean I'm right, okay? So that is NIO. Let's close it off with Tesla. You guys, Tesla, why did none of these things? So Tesla, this is also an easy trend line. I'm sorry about this, you guys. Tesla, again, been ripping. I say this every time I talk down on Tesla, or I talk about Tesla being overvalued. I love Elon. I think Elon is the single most impactful human being to walk this planet. He deserves, in all honesty, I believe Elon Musk deserves to be the richest man on the planet. It is very fitting for him to be the richest man on the planet because he's provided the most value and he's pushing the human species forward. Tesla, amazing company, not just a car company, an energy company, an AI company, so many things. Tesla, market cap of $805 billion, a PE ratio. Where is it at? PE ratio. Where is the PE ratio? Why can't I find it? PE ratio, okay, I think I gotta go right here. PE ratio, price to earnings ratio. Keep in mind, you guys, a healthy PE ratio is about 15. Tesla's PE ratio is at 1,621, all right? So again, who's to say it's what's overvalued and undervalued? The market environment, like PE ratios obviously don't matter anymore. And I'm not going to say that. It's just objectively, historically, that is a ridiculously high PE ratio. But again, who's to say it's overvalued? Who's to say it's undervalued? People invest in the future potential of companies, not the current reality of them. But again, even for Tesla to justify an $800 billion valuation, it has to perform like everything flawlessly for the next decade. So that valuation, if everything goes exactly as planned and accordingly, then this valuation makes sense 10 years from now. But again, you guys, I love Tesla. I think Teslas are sick cars. I think Elon Musk is the man. I think Tesla stock is the most hype boy, overvalued stock that I've ever seen. Okay, so Tesla, I mean, this is an easy play. Tesla has been in a significant uptrend since the summer. Of course, going from $190, even before that, from $190 to a high of almost $900 just yesterday once again. And it's just so overextended, you guys, in my opinion. It's just there's so much hype here. There's so much FOMO. And it's gone on for so long, you guys. So I think Tesla will ultimately come down to test this line of supports that has had multiple touch points over the course of this rally that just seems to keep on extending. But what goes up must come down at some point. Again, who's to say 5-10 years from now, Tesla, it's very likely it'll be higher than it is right now. But I seriously think 2020 will be looked back on for Tesla as just a complete like 2020 vision is so clear, retrospect. This will be looked back on as a ridiculous rally and completely unjustified. So again, you guys, this is just my opinion. I think Tesla, I think it's very, very likely that over the coming months, Tesla will ultimately come down to test this line of support on this overall uptrend, bringing it to $533. Keep in mind, you guys, it's still high on the year. Just at the end of June, Tesla was at under $200. If it comes down to $500, it's still over 2x since the summer. Okay, so again, it wouldn't surprise me at all, you guys. Corrections, like I've been saying, for crypto are a healthy part of every bull market, and I believe NIO and Tesla specifically are very, very overdue for a significant correction. Okay, so that's all we have to say here, you guys. Again, I hope you are interested in these two plays, ALYI, Xpeng. Again, I think a lot of the money that flows out of these potentially could flow into those as well. Very underappreciated stocks, and that's just kind of how the cycle works. Once again, you guys, is people still love the EV sector. Money is still going to want to be invested in the EV sector. Capital is still going to flow within it, but it's just going to it's going to trade hands. It's going to change hands, okay, from stocks that are overextended like Tesla and NIO, and then go into, once again, more promising plays. ALYI, you got, for real, you guys, mark this date if this is the first time you heard about this. And I feel it in my plums. I feel it in my gut. That is a Eastbound and Down reference. Let me know if you guys know that. I don't know if you do. But you guys, I feel it in my gut. I got a gut feeling about this one, especially on the pullback today. In all honesty, I picked up a bag of shares today on today's pullback, and I'm really, really excited to see how this play specifically unfolds over the course of this year. Penny stocks with fundamental potential. You guys know those are my favorite, and once again, that's how we've identified a lot of the plays that have done us very, very well over the course of 2020. And hopefully this is the Mara of 2021, so we will see. But hey, you guys, once again, this is not advice. I'm not telling you to do anything. Go research this for yourself, and please let me know what you think about it down below, all right? So, again, whether it's ALYI, whether it's ALYI, Xpeng, Hyillion, NIO, Tesla, whatever it is, whatever you guys want to talk about, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you think NIO and Tesla are going to keep ripping. Again, it's completely fine if you do. I don't want to pass judgment onto anybody. These are, once again, just my opinions. So I'll talk to you guys downstairs. Always love talking shop. Always love learning. So see you down there. Till next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.